What is popping, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube.com? It's me, Fwafy, back with another crazy top 10 video. Let's just say I've gotten myself into a bit of a sticky situation, if you will. This week we're going to be talking about top 10 facts about tape that you never knew. So, let's not waste any more time and get right into it. Roll it!
Number 10.
Tape was invented in 1111 by avid book burner Tate Paper. Tate was sick and tired of his posters sitting around on the floor. He wanted to create something revolutionary so he could start looking up at all his frilly decorations, so that way he would look more empowered instead of looking down at them, giving him the appearance of being sad. During the design process, Dr. Paper accidentally invented nails and glue, but ultimately decided that both were just downright ugly. He decided to send his dog, Spider-Man, to steal some business plastic from their businessman neighbor. Fortunately, the dog chewed the plastic into a thin strip, which Dr. Paper promptly stuck to his wall. Thus, tape was born.
Number 9.
Tape hasn't always been used for the things we know it for today. When it was first conceived, the pilgrims took note and fancied it. They would often use it to pull pranks on other pilgrims by taping their moccasins to the floor so that way they wouldn't be able to go out and hunt and ultimately starve to death. Another way pilgrims used tape was by taping hair all over their bodies. For years, historians believed this was to keep them warm in the harsh winters, but as it turns out, this was just to pull more pranks. They would cover themselves from head to toe in fur and pretend to be coyotes, raccoons, and beavers. They would sneak around the town and steal from trash cans before sneaking back into the woods, where they would usually be killed by real coyotes, raccoons, and beavers.
Number 8.
Before tape, people had other methods of sticking things together. One method was to have the loser kid in class hold things all day while the other kids spit spitballs at him. Another popular method was to throw things way up in the air in hopes that a bird might fly by and grab it, keeping it in place long enough to admire.
Number 7.
So, we know how tape was first created, but over the years, the means of production have changed very drastically. In the modern world, tape begins production by melting down rubber masks that are just too scary for the general public. After the masks are melted down, large men with big flat boots begin stomping on the melted rubber to make it very flat. Once the melted rubber is nice and flat, singers with big lungs are in line to blow on the plastic and sometimes give it a little tune in order to cool it down. Then, small women with very nimble fingers and strong teeth begin chomping the rubber into strips. To add the adhesive, people who just ate candy canes and have very sticky mouths spit all over the rubber strips. From here, professional yo-yo masters spin the strips into the rolls that we see on the market. It's a complicated process, but as we all know, it's well worth it in the end.
Number 6.
There are several uses for tape that a lot of people just don't know about. Tape is often used to hold together crumbling relationships. Giving a significant other a roll of tape is often seen as a symbolic gesture and refers back to the old days when Dr. Paper used it to feel more empowered. Tape can also be used to hold together any and all chips that you may want to shove in your mouth at one time.
Number 5.
Tape comes in many different shapes and sizes. One of the most well-known kinds of tape is duct tape. When it first hit the markets on the left side of Missouri, people were not happy. They would say things like, "Ducks can't use tape, they don't even have hands, they live in the water, tape doesn't even work in water." What they didn't realize until years later is that the idea that they had of duct tape was all wrong. It isn't used by ducks, it's used for ducks. It was created in order for duck wranglers to keep all their ducks together. It binds to their dirty, hairy feathers and keeps them from drifting over dams and waterfalls.
Number 4.
While the Western world quickly understood and adapted to tape, it took the Eastern world much longer to understand its usefulness. Eastern Europeans would try and use tape as cat food because it would stick to the insides of the cat and make them full for a longer amount of time. Unfortunately, This is how tapeworms were created. Over in Asia, people tried using tape to make door stoppers, but the doors would always stick to them, allowing everyone to see them undressed. How embarrassing!
Number 3.
During the Civil War, tape was an asset which truly helped turn the tides of war. The Union soldiers saw the usefulness in the fact that tape is able to stick to skin. The soldiers would cover themselves from head to toe in tape and draw Confederate clothing on it. They would use this to sneak into Confederate camps. Once the camps were infiltrated, the Union soldiers would begin covering the Confederate soldiers' clothing in tape and drawing Union colors on them. When the Confederate soldiers got dressed in the morning, they all thought they were Union soldiers and stabbed each other with bayonets. The Confederates never caught on to the ruse and killed over 75% of their own forces.
Number 2.
During the production of Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, tape was used quite frequently on set. The production crew used gallons of tape to hold back the wrinkles on the faces of the actors. However, no actor needed more tape while shooting than Alan Rickman. They had to use so much tape for his wrinkles that over half the budget went into tape for Mr. Rickman alone. Because of this, the writers came up with a clever name for his character. They decided to call him Snape, short for Serious Tape.
Number 1.
Because of its massive influence in culture today, some bigwigs over in New York decided they wanted to put a stop to tape. They began creating campaigns in order to spread lies about tape. They created an ad campaign known as Tape is Grape. The ads sent messages to the public that tape is grape flavored and everyone should be eating it. As we all know today, tape is not grape flavored, it actually tastes like goat fur. The public became upset at tape manufacturers because of the terrible, non-grape flavored tape. However, tape manufacturers actually used this smear campaign to their advantage. They began pouring grape juice on the tape during production, skyrocketing their sales while simultaneously getting free advertising. Alrighty folks, that is going to do it for today. I hope you learned something new. I know, as always, I sure did. So please, if you like this video, consider subscribing, liking the video, ringing that bell icon, and sharing it with some of your family and friends. You know why you should share it with family and friends? Because it's like everybody says, share with your family and share with your friends. Because everybody loves Fwafy. Stay awesome, folks. I will see you in the next one.